What is up, everyone? Thank you so much for coming back to the Tribe of Runners podcast. I'm your host, Liz Myers, and today I have the amazing guest, Natasha Swartley. Did I say it right? Heck yeah.
Dad, I'm so proud of you.
So, for anyone that's listening, we literally just went over this, and I was like, listen, I'm going to mess up your last name. There's no way it looks, I guess it does look how you pronounce it, but it looks so intimidating. So, welcome, Natasha, to the podcast. But everyone calls you Thor. So, which do you actually prefer?
Thor is the trail name.
Yes.
I will 99% of the time introduce myself as Tasha.
Ooh, okay. Okay, very
Yeah.
cool.
So
When we met, you introduced yourself as Thor. Do you remember?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In person, you're like, "Hey, I'm Thor," and I'm like, "Oh, cool! Like that's a sick ass name."
Yeah. Well, Thor kind of came about Tahoe 23. It was the first 200-mile race I volunteered at. And one of the guys couldn't remember Tasha, right? I was not there for this conversation, so I'm just like the bystander of all of this. But the word on the street is that they couldn't remember Tasha, so they're all like, "I know it starts with a T," and all of a sudden somebody's like, "Thor," and next thing you know, it like people are like, "Dude, that's a cool trail name," and we all know, those of us in the trail community know that you don't pick your trail name. It's given to you. And so somebody came up and they're calling you Thor. And I was like, I love it. So since then, like at any trail event, like most of the time I'll just introduce myself as Thor. People remember it easier than Tasha.
100%.
And it just makes things fun. They're all like, "Is that your real name?" No.
But I like it, and that's what I'm gonna use.
I love it.
It's so funny because I knew who you were through social media, but I didn't know. I guess I didn't put one and two together like Thor or whatever. So when you introduced yourself, I was like, "Oh, cool! It's so nice to meet you." Blah blah blah. And I went back with a few of my crew members, and they're like, "Did you meet Thor?" And I'm like, "I did." Like it's so funny. It was so funny when it happened, but we got to officially meet at the Monster 300, which was so cool. And then I got to encounter you multiple times throughout the race because it was a long race, and it was so cool to meet you and continue to meet you, and like we really got to know each other. So that was really awesome. And like one of the biggest things that I have to say is like every time I saw you, you were like super happy, super joyful, and I'm like, dude, like this is amazing. She is always. I'm sure you're not always like this, but you are such a joy to be around, and watching you genuinely encourage and like help so many people out there with just the brief moments that I saw you. And I was like, man, she's a game changer in like just this industry. And I know we had talked previously, and obviously, like I know you do a lot of foot care. So, like, how did you get into what you do right now? And then we'll kind of like go back on your backstory of like you.
Oh my gosh. Well, can I just take a back step?
Oh.
When I think we met, I think you were at Bigfoot or one of the other races last year. I don't know. And if you were, great. I thought we crossed paths before, but totally when Josh Coleman was like, "Yeah, do you know my friend Liz?" And I'm like, "Oh, hey," because you were helping us set up tents. And this
Yes.
is why I love this community, right?
Yeah.
So when I realized who you were and what you've done and how I like completely geeked out on following you do your FKT across Florida, I was like, like she's the best, and like, oh my god, total fangirl. And then like, and then the moment's over. But no, what an honor it is to meet another female badass. So super congrats to you on like huge achievement. How did I get into this? Well, Tahoe, I retired from the Navy in August of 21, and I went to Wilderness EMT school, and the intent was to kind of get the medical training, but to use it in an outdoor setting, right? So I ended up working in an ambulance thereafter, and because I moved back home. But I started getting back into trail running, and there's one thing that I absolutely love and encourage for any runner is if you're going to run the races, volunteer. at the races
Mhm.
that you run at, right? So it doesn't mean that like cross finish line, go help out. If you do, that's fantastic, but give back to the community. And so as I started diving back into trail running and ultra running, really more in depth in ultra running, I was actually volunteering. I started volunteering at the Sasquatch Trail Race Series in New Jersey. So Kim Levinsky, the race director, is a phenomenal race director, and highly encourage you guys on the East Coast or anywhere, go check out her trail parties, as she calls them.
Heck yeah.
But she introduced me to the Destination Trail Race Series, and so Tahoe 23 was the first 200-mile event I've ever laid eyes on, attended, and there I was, completely oblivious, if you will, because I was volunteering as a medic and I had no idea what I was getting into. And oh my God, like it is life changing to be in any capacity at these events. And I'm not just talking like your 50Ks, right? Because that's life changing too, or your 1 miles or anything like that. But the 200s, there's just something absolutely life changing, whether you're the runner, the athlete themselves, or you're on the sideline, like being the volunteer to support them through the entire event. Like it was life changing. And in that moment, I was hooked, and the runners were hooked on me. And so I got asked to attend the next two events. Well, I was already kind of going to go to Bigfoot. And if anybody remembers, Tahoe and Bigfoot of 2023 were only a month apart, July into August. So I was like, okay, I'll head up there. And then ended up being begged to come to Moab, and I couldn't say no. And then ended up moving to Colorado thereafter.
Very cool. You dove right
Yeah.
in.
Oh yeah. Head first.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So what was like out of what you said, like it was just a volunteer in a sense, and then you like found the ultra community more or less, and it was on the outside. So it wasn't you were running all these races more or less getting addicted. It was you were volunteering and giving that free time up to help others, and you became
Mm-hmm.
an amazing person out there in the ultra community. I know so many people, by the way, at the Monster that like, hey, has Thor helped you at all? I'm like, or not me, but like other runners, and they're like, she's great. I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman is fucking crushing it out there. So, super, super, so many kudos to you. It's amazing. But when did your first actual like ultra race happen, and how was that for you?
Oh man. So it happened in 2019. I had actually been under a coach. My original goal was to be on a team to run the TSP, so the Speed
Mm,
Project.
yes.
I ended up dropping from the team, so I was already on a program to run 60 miles, which up to that point, 26.2 was all I had under my belt, and it was an absolute miserable marathon, and I never wanted to run again. So I was like, well, this sounds like fun. But after I dropped from that team, I was like, you know what? Screw it. Signed up for a 50 miler, had no idea. None. You want to talk about clueless? Absolutely clueless. I could already barely function during a marathon because I didn't know anything about nutrition and bonking and all these things. So it just carries over into the 50 miler, you know? And so I did Tillamook Burn in 2019. I highly recommend that course. It is absolutely stunning out there. It's in Oregon in the Tillamook Forest. And my best friend Carrie, you met her too.
Mhm, mhm.
She was my crew, and the poor girl, I commend her. I'm surprised we're still friends. Um, she crewed me, knew nothing about what was going on. I was dating a guy at the time too, and he knew nothing. He was great at the time too, because he showed up and he was just like, no, don't fucking quit and all this
Yeah.
other stuff. And like I show up to the aid station, mile 38. My watch is dead. I'm absolutely miserable. I want to die. I've never run that far. And like, I'm just angry at the world. Everything is just terrible. And like, I'm trying to eat chips on the bumper of her car and like I'm spitting them out at the same time. So it's this like cycle. And then she's like, you need to eat, and gives me a sandwich. And I take a bite and I was like, fuck you. Chuck it at her and just carry on. And I
Oh.
was like, I have a half marathon to go in 4 hours. I can do this. And like, I just remember that up until like that next 10 miles, I wanted to sit on every tree. I think I cried the entire time. I wanted the I wanted the sweeps to come and tell me I was a piece of shit and a failure. And then next thing you know it, like the crew, like the aid station that I come up upon, they're like, yeah, you got 3 miles to go in an hour. And I was like, oh my God. And then like life just rejuvenated. And I finished with just like 2 minutes to spare.
Oh my gosh, what a
Oh
wild
my God, what an experience.
yes. And now after that, were you like never again, or were you like, I love this and I want to keep doing it?
I was a mix of both.
Okay.
You know, and like that was that was in 2019. So we all know the world just kind of like took some crazy turns.
Hmm.
So and I retired in 21. So in 2019 there was a lot more work that I had to get done, and then like I just maintained some running standard but not really raced anything. There's a couple here and there that Carrie and I had done. Um and then yeah, but thereafter I didn't run really anything again until almost 22.
Oh wow, okay, okay. But I mean, that
Yeah.
happens. Life gets
Yeah.
crazy, and yeah, and I mentioned this earlier because we briefly talked beforehand, but thank you so much for your service.
I
And
appreciate it.
I know we had previously just talked about like you've done, you went in only originally planning to do 4 years, and you did 20, and you've retired. So thank you truly so much for everything. And I'm sure we'll kind of
Thank
dive
you.
into that eventually. But I have like questions in the sense of, you life happened, you got busy. Did you then go to volunteering and then get rehooked and start running again, or was it like a kind of combination of both, of just running and volunteering?
So I was still in the service at the time, and we relocated back down to California. Um and right around the time that I was getting ready to retire, I was on a basically like a retirement leave before my actual retirement date, and there was a race going on called the Born to Run Ultras
Mhm.
in Los Olivos. And I told Carrie, I was like, let's go volunteer. Like, we just wanted a girls' weekend away. And it's up near Solvang, California, which is the Dutch capital of America, and it's amazing. So we were like, sure. Clueless, right? And like Carrie and I are all about like giving back to the community. She has a big heart too. And so we show up clueless, right? We're just there to go help like people check in and whatnot. Little did we know that the book we read, Born to Run, was the same persons that were hosting this event. So we're brand new to this community, and this is kind of like the stepping stone that really got us both involved in this and really opened our eyes to the beauty of the trail community. And we were working with Beverly, which is Luis Escobar's wife.
Mm.
Had no idea that Luis Escobar was there, and we were like, he showed up on a Jeep out of nowhere up to the check-in spot, and he's just like, hey. And then we're both still active duty, and he took us around introducing us to the village, and he's like, these are my Navy girls. And we're all like, this is Luis Escobar, he knows us by name. Like, completely fangirling because we only know this guy in a book, and like his accolades and just like what he's done for the community, like running the dogs and now hosting these amazing events and just being a photographer and just like fully engulfed in it. And then we met oh my God, Barefoot Ted, and he
Cool.
really is as weird as he comes off, but he's such a genuine soul. But like that's really where it started, was just like the volunteering and like getting involved with that community right from the get-go, right before I retired. I don't remember where I was going with this, but yes, that's
No, 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 it's cool, and it's amazing. So you got involved in the volunteering and then kind of
Mhm.
trickled in to start running again to like spark that interest in running and such.
Um Sort of. The
Okay.
run actually, so like when I did the first ultra, it was just like on a whim, right? I had no idea what I was getting into, and then like the world changed, and then I got into the volunteer side. And then when I retired, I hope this is, I think this is very relatable for a lot of folks, especially in the service. But
Mm.
when I retired, so after doing 20 years of absolute selfless dedication to our country, to our people, um, you like when you retire, like you go like full bore to dead stop. And I went through a really, really bad, really dark period of my life. Took myself to the hospital. I had to undergo some therapy. There was some suicidal type stuff that was going on. And reverting back to what I knew was helping me in the years prior was just like that community feeling.
Mm.
So when you're in the service, there's a lot of camaraderie, right? Like, and similar to what we have in the trail community, especially these longer distances, we can't do this shit alone, like
Mm.
period. And like my life was reliant upon other service members and vice versa. And when I look at the trail community, my life is reliant on them as much as they are upon me.
Mm.
And so it kind of crossed paths. And so I started to get back into trail running to keep me grounded and to keep me safe and to re-involve myself in a community of similar integrities, similar love and compassion and safety. And like that community just, oh my God, like I'll tell you that when I went to Tahoe in 23, I was just coming out of these dark phases of my life. 2022 was really rough for me. And I was still trying to find my personal identity of like who I am and where I belong. So when I showed up to Tahoe and just doing what I love and feeling the freedom to be me at my truest core and being accepted for that, the runners there and the community there are the very essence of why I am still around today. They help me save my life, and I cannot be any more thankful.
Oh, that's incredible. And not incredible because of the backstory, which I'll get to in a second, but I love the community as well. And it's so like your story is so inspiring in the sense of like this is why this community is so amazing. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
we literally are just being ourselves. And that is one of the hardest things I think in life to do because a lot of us try to be this image or this thing, especially on social media, that like creates the likes or the follows or whatever the case may be. And in the ultra community, like yeah, you have that on social media, but like when you meet each other, everyone's there to help you, no matter if it's to give you a band-aid to cover up a scratch or for you to literally spend 4 hours on the trail and talk the whole entire time about
Mhm.
the most randomest thing in the whole wide world. And it's so amazing that like you found this community and in a sense they've saved you for that reason, because that's incredible. And I'm really sorry about the transition. I've heard a lot of people say similar stories.
Mhm.
It is a complete readjustment, and going from, I'm sure, so much structure to then really being able to do kind of what you want because you have nothing to wake up for or anything of that nature. So I can only imagine. My brother's in the service and we talk about that. Like, I'm like, what are you gonna do when you get out? And he's like, I don't know, but I got to find something, and it is crazy, but it's what you've done to get out and then like randomly find this community and have everyone there to help you is amazing. I'm so glad you did because it's made us cross paths.
Mhm.
And I think you're an amazing person, and like some of the things that I've noticed and or witnessed about you, it's so cool. And I think you're only going to grow not only as like what you do for the volunteering aspect, but as a runner as yourself, like a female runner. I'm all for us females out here. So I can't wait to see what you do. And you have a 200 plan this year, which is amazing and I'm sure terrifying at the same time. And I we'll get to that too because that's a big, scary, daunting thing for you. I know because we briefly talked about it. But what would you say like when you first started getting into ultra running, like made you feel so at home? Yeah, I know the community aspect, but was there anything like in particular that really hit home for you?
First of all, thank you to your brother.
Oh, yes.
Many thank yous for him holding fort down.
Yeah.
Um, God, honestly, I love the aspect of the challenge. The more and more I dive deeper into this community or this realm of ultra running, um, the more I realize that like our spirits really have a much deeper hole to dig into. And like when you think you've had enough, there's just something else that you can dive like you can dig out, right? I know I like to refer to ourselves like when we're in a fog or we're in a funk, like we're in a bad period in life, like we're just buried, right? There's just
Mm.
stuff stacked on top of us, like we're still there but we're just buried. And I think in the same essence, when you get out there on the trail and like our bodies are meant to move, right? Like any person out there who gets involved in any sort of athletic type of sport, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Our bodies are designed to move, but there's something primal knowing that our bodies are meant to move. Like it is a fact that the human species can actually is the highest level of endurance, right? Any other animal cannot beat our endurance.
Mm.
So knowing that and trickling back to what I went through in the Navy, I'm like, I have gone through so much worse things, and there's only a few things I need to do out here. I just need to eat, drink, take care of my feet,
Yeah.
sleep, and move forward. That's it. Like it's just primal stuff, but we get so fogged. So I
Mhm.
think like the challenge of really trying to dive deeper to that primal human instinct of just movement and survival, and most importantly, of gratitude and appreciation for all
Mm.
of that. Because like we can come home and we're going to come back to our lives, our everyday lives. But when we're out there, we're humans, we're species. We are individuals who are all trying to accomplish something, but really at the end of the day what we're accomplishing is the very essence of our human spirit,
Mm.
and it's movement and it's gratitude and it's being involved in nature in a way that we are meant to be. And these are all just like my opinions, and I don't expect too many to agree with them, um but like that's what I see when I'm out there, is like that's what draws me, is not so much the challenge of the distance, because that really does honestly scare me, but the idea of being able to be immersed in Mother Nature's embrace and feel safe in her very existence, knowing that she's there to protect me even when it doesn't feel like she's protecting me, like in a rainstorm.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, no, I love that, and it's so true. I think many of us can relate in the aspect of it being that challenge, and it's what
Mhm.
however we all define it as, like, a mental thing or a spiritual thing or, like, just a, "I wanna see what I can do" type deal. But I think what everyone always forgets is, like you said, like, we're literally made to move.
Mhm.
The thing that we encounter a lot is like that mental like, "Oh, my legs can't go any further," or, this. And in reality, that's just your mind trying to
Mhm.
maybe protect you or stop you or keep you safe, keep you comfortable. And, at the end of the day, all you have to do is keep pushing and going, and you'd be surprised what you can do out there. And I love that. It's, I love the mental aspect of things. Like, I wanna see what I can do, and it's not like I want to be the best this, that, or that. I just want to see if I can overcome this mental negative mind that I get into when we get into a race, and, know that I'm out in the forest enjoying life and not having to worry about being at home, taking care of my dogs or the family or anything like that. I can just go and run for hours on end, which is amazing. And I love that that's
Mhm.
what caught you because it's, kept you in here and now it's made you sign up for a 200-mile race.
Yeah.
So
It's so scary.
You will do amazing though. Amazing, amazing. So
Oh,
you
thank
are
you.
in signed up for Tahoe 200.
Yes, I am.
Why would you sign up for a 200-mile race? We'll have to hear it because we all have like our reasons.
Ah,
What's your reason?
so it took me 3 times to finish 100.
Okay.
Um, when I finished Folsom 100, I finished 3rd place female. And
Congratulations, that's
so
awesome.
thank you, thank you. Many kudos. I had an amazing crew. Actually, Candace and Adam crewed me, and then
So
my friend
cool.
John paced me in. And it was phenomenal. And nowhere near what I expected it to be as far as like coming in third place female. I was like, and it rained for like forever. So it
Mm,
was just it was grand. But why a 200? You know, right before I went into my third attempt at 100, the coach I had at the time, Aaron Stacy, he had told me, he's like, sometimes your why is just as simple as because you can.
mhm.
And like, we are always trying to find our why. And I was like, that's as simple as it gets because you
Yeah.
can. There's other depths to it, absolutely. So when I finished Folsom and got over my crying spell, I realized that I was like, I can do this. And, you know, having witnessed so many people across this line of 200 miles, I was like, well, if they can do it, so can I. So I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I signed up.
That is awesome. I love that. And hear me out. You can definitely do this. 100%.
Thank
I know without a doubt you can do this. Especially because like if it at the end of the day, if you consistently push through at 100, like you will do whatever it takes for this, and it's going to be just a relentless grind of like back and forth, pushing each and every step and getting yourself to the finish, which is awesome. But I have to ask, did you decide on Tahoe for a reason, or
Oh,
did you?
yeah.
Oh yeah, so let's hear it. Why'd you pick Tahoe?
It's the most beautiful place. Like,
Mm.
I've always seen myself immersed in like water and mountains. Um, I just connect with water and
Okay.
mountains, even though like I really don't swim.
Okay.
I connect well with water. There's something, call it what you will, but in the Navy we used to say, like, instead of being flexible, be fluid. So be fluid
Mm,
like water. Because water always comes back. It always comes back to its natural state. Even after it's disrupted, it always comes back. And then the mountains, there's just something glorious about looking at, you're standing on an alpine lake in a meadow field of flowers, and then you're seeing snow-capped mountains, and they just stand so tall. And even when they're like disrupted, they still stand so glorious, and they're raw and they're vulnerable, yet they stand so strong. And like, I've always been attracted to that. And it's Tahoe. Like, it's
yeah.
so gorgeous. Um, you know, and I agree, like Moab and Washington, like I've been to all these places countless times before these 200s. And like they're stunning, but I'm just drawn to the textures of the mountain and lakes, and it's just like, I can't wait to experience it all on foot.
Yeah, it'll be an amazing experience no matter what.
Mm, mhm.
You're gonna love it and hate it and love it again and then re-hate it probably a few times. But I'm so excited, and I get to see you. I will be out there officially at
Yay!
Tahoe crewing, so I'm super pumped to cheer you on. And any chance I see you, I'm gonna be screaming like a little girl, cheering your ass on. So I'm super excited for you to go out there and tackle this adventure. It's just going to be amazing. And I'm honestly super pumped to see this area because I've heard so many good things about this race. So I've never I'm like on this coast all of my life, never really ventured out. I went to Arizona a few times. I've been to Badwater once. So like
Mhm.
I'm getting to experience more with the crewing and pacing at races, which is awesome. But I'm very excited to go out there and I'll be cheering you on for sure.
Oh
But
my
a little
god, I'm
side
so excited you get to experience Tahoe.
Oh, I know, I know. When I got asked instantly, I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes." I was like, "Hold on, I have to ask my partner because she's gonna kill me, but we'll see if she'll be okay with it." And I luckily talked myself and her into it, so I think we're good to go.
Yes, yes,
So
this is so
yes,
exciting.
yeah, I'm very excited to go out there. I think not only for the racing experience to be out there and support Joe, but to also go out there and just see this course because I've heard so many good things.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so excited for you to be out there, and definitely look forward to seeing you You
for
you
sure.
might see me in my grumpy moments. I'll do
Oh,
my best to be,
listen, I
like,
look forward to
not
the grumpy
grumpy.
moments. I look forward to the grumpy moments so I can be like, "Listen, it's cool. Like, you can be this way. It's 100." Like, 'cause a lot of
Yeah.
people, especially, like, newer friends or newer people that you meet, they're like, "Oh, I'm just having a real bad low." I'm like, "Dude, of course you are. Like, you're running how many
Yeah.
miles? Like, it's cool." But no,
Yeah.
it'll be a good
Yeah.
time for sure. But on the side note, there's a race that we have actually both ran, not at the same time, but we've both ran. It's Forgotten Florida.
Uh, oh, yeah.
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 I did
Oh
some
my god, that
creeping.
race. Dude, that course is I don't even know how to describe it. Um,
Now you did the
uh,
50, correct?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you down there at the same time? No?
No, so I did it in
Okay.
2024.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yo, the Black Swamp?
So I have to ask, I'm pretty sure, I know my year, supposedly it was like the worst swamped like it's been, but how bad was yours when you did it the year prior?
Um, I I remember like Sean was saying that it really wasn't that bad. And
Okay.
I just remember being like thigh deep in black muck. And I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
this
about
isn't that bad.
right.
Like this is I was like, what do you call bad?
Yeah.
It
It
was so gross.
Yeah, that sounds about right. No, when we went, I'm like all legs, right? No, little torso, long legs, and it was about high, like right below my short line, so like high thigh, and it was like a complete slog to try to get in and out. But supposedly that was the worst it's been this year. I actually went out there to crew and pace one of my buddies, and it wasn't that bad. But it's an
Okay.
amazing race, and I saw you did it. And I was like, hell yeah! It's a super cool
Yeah.
race, and my only question for this, because it's super cool that you did it, but like what brought you to this little race down here in Florida?
I needed a 50 miler. I
Oh.
was like, but I didn't know. I was really curious because when I was looking at races, I was like, shoot, Florida's got trails? They got trail races? And I
Mm.
was just really curious about it. And then I have an uncle that lives down in what is it? Just north of the space place. Um
Oh, the
was it
space.
not Fort Myers, but I don't know where what Fort Smyrna Beach. So
Oh,
I got
okay,
an uncle that lives in Smyrna Beach, Florida, and I was like, you know what? This is an excuse. I've never been to Orlando. Still haven't been to Orlando.
okay.
And and I was like, why not? So it was honestly like a spur of the moment slash I wanted a training run. And like to explore like this apparently trail system that Florida
Mhm.
has. And oh my God, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like nothing of what I ever imagined Florida would have. And
Mhm.
like the single tracks were amazing. My favorite part was having conversations with the cows in the
I
pastures because
Yes.
there was so many cows.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that's so cool. And it's so funny you say that. I have had so many people reach out and be like, "Well, your trails probably aren't like anything nice." I'm like, I mean, don't get me wrong, some trails out here suck, but there's so many awesome areas in Florida. And that race truly is probably like top races for me. It's just because it's gorgeous. Like, yes, it is
Hmm.
flat. You're right. You're in Florida. It's not going to be very verdy out here, but you encounter so many different ecosystems within that 50-mile race. It is wild. And then you get to run through the pastures of cows, which is even cooler, which is so funny. You got to experience that. But yeah, so that was super cool that we both ran it. So I figured I had to share and surprise you with it.
Yeah, it was so exciting. No
Heck
doubt
yeah.
you crushed it like way better than I ever could. But hey, there's no comparison in this world. The
There is
fact that
no
it's done,
comparison. Yeah, we both
none.
ran it, and that's what matters. It was an awesome encounter, and we both got to swim through the muddy, murky swamp
Oh,
area, which is awesome.
there was no gators. That was my thing. I was like,
Yeah.
am I gonna start crossing this? And then like next thing you know it, Chompers is just gonna show up and be like, what's up, fish bait? Like,
Yeah, luckily, I don't think in that, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's gators out there for sure, but I don't know how much it is out there in that actual area.
hmm.
I mean, hopefully we never have to find out, but hopefully it stays nice and cleared off for that aspect. The biggest thing to worry about is probably hogs. Hogs are real, like, just aggressive and kind of assholes out there, so you got to watch out for those.
Oh. I
Yeah.
was not aware of the hogs. I mean, the cows were just like the best part.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just
No.
focus on the cows because I do want to do it again. I'm just gonna focus
Ooh.
on petting the moo-moos, you know.
Yeah, 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 that for sure. And it's an amazing course. It's yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend it if anyone's looking for like a nice scenic 50 miler. Even the 100. The 100's nice. There's a few out
Mhm.
and backs in the last half end, so it's not as scenic in my opinion as the first 50, but it's still a really great race. Very cool, very cool.
Absolutely.
So now let's get into like what you do for the trail running. So
Hmm.
I don't want to butcher it. I'm not going to attempt. I know you briefly talked about like you're a trail medic, but you are specific on a topic that you actually don't really love, which I think is super fascinating. So like, what exactly do you do or focus on when you're out there volunteering for races?
So I'm a trail race medic. I do have a license, the EMT license with a
Mhm.
wilderness certification. Um, but when we're at the trail races, we're not doing anything at the level of an EMT. It's everything is basic first aid. That said, 99% of what I do outside of giving hugs is
Yeah.
feet. And
Yes.
like, and every runner knows, I think feet are so gross. Like, they're especially ultra runner feet. Yes, I'm speaking to you. Your black toenails, lack thereof, the bloody blisters. It's all gross. But you know, I learned over these last few years, like I to get to someone's soul, you have to go through their feet.
Mm,
And you know, when we're doing these distances, like the feet are the ground source of and the foundation of what keeps us going. And you know, when you're doing 200, 100 even, or anything for that matter, when your feet start to hurt or those blisters start to develop, it does cause some psychological dismay because like the pain is real.
mm,
Um so in my mind I'm like, okay, well we need to bring some reduction down and help you feel a little bit better. So great, I'm going to pop some blisters, which not going to lie, I love popping the blisters. Like, you know, I'm a big fan of Dr. Pimple Popper and like, you know, like I just still like feet. But no, I go for it. I dive right in and I try to get other folks involved. I try to get the runner involved in their own foot care as well. You know, so that way they feel in control, they feel safe. But they also feel like a part of the process, which psychologically is very important for any one of us. Like, you know, I'm at their feet and they're thinking like, oh my God, like this is so gross. And oh God, they're touching my feet. It's a very vulnerable place to be. So I try to bring that comfort, that safety, that enlightenment. And I also try to just bring an air of relaxation, like, you know, through the safety of saying like, this doesn't bother me, even though they know I hate feet, I just dive
yeah.
right in. Um, but it's not about the feet. It's honest to God not about the feet. When we're doing these distances, we're bottling up so much and we're trying to carry more weight than we need to. And when you're coming into these aid stations, it's not just the blisters that's causing pain. There's emotional traumas that are rising. And I couldn't tell you how many stories or I guess moments of therapy. I'm not a therapist by any means, but I will sit there and I will happily listen to whatever you wish to share and engage with you to, if that's what it's going to take to help you feel better, I want to be there to listen.
Mm,
And it goes back to it, like, to get to your soul, I got to go through your feet. And for me it's very fulfilling to see someone feel relieved, to feel better, to feel rejuvenated when they stand up again, to know that either like it might not be the pain has reduced, because it might not be reduced from the blisters, but to know that their weight has been lifted and they feel um stronger and weightless to go out and reapproach the next section with a clear headset.
mm.
And that's for what I get out of it, is knowing that at the end of the day, it's not about it's not about fixing your feet
Yeah.
because I hate them. But
Yeah.
it's Like they're so gross.
Yeah.
Um, it's about fixing your soul and giving you another level of peace of mind. So when you go out to tackle that next 20 miles, whatever it may be, or get to the finish, because that's
Heck yeah.
really what it's about. That is what I feel fulfilled by, selfishly,
No.
is seeing you achieve something you want to achieve.
And I think, I know from people I've heard and, like, what I've witnessed, you do that to almost every person you encounter, and I can tell, like, just through multiple people that, like, I've literally been walking around crew stops, aid stops, and people just, like, confessing things to you, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh," like, you really don't realize what you do as a person in the sense, like, yes, you are there fixing their feet, I hate to say it, but you are
Yeah.
there so much more than just that because you do actually talk to the person. Like I had you pop a few blisters on my feet when I was out there. I was like, "Hey, if you're not busy, I'm gonna steal you because like I don't feel like doing it myself. Can you just like clean up my feet real quick?" And then that's when we got on this topic of you not actually liking feet. And I'm like, "Oh shit, I probably shouldn't have asked her to do this then." But then you started talking about like, yeah, like I enjoy this because like I get to really listen to what people are experiencing and like what they're going through. And, it makes so much sense because I can only imagine what you see and witness too. Cause I'm sure people come in looking really rough and or really good. And then you hear these stories that like probably change you in some way, but yet also like what you're doing for them is changing them because you're listening, you're giving them that like shoulder to vent and cry and be there for. And then at the end of the day, like their feet are fixed too. So they are so
Yeah.
appreciative and thankful for everything that you've done. It's truly so awesome. And I never really experienced it. And nothing against anyone else I've ever encountered, but I've never seen someone take so much time. To be 100% honest, like you're there and you're talking to them. I literally watched you explain to someone like what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then go into like how are you feeling, and it's just so cool to see that. And I've witnessed it literally firsthand at the monster, so it's super super cool. I'm very observant and sneaky and like paying attention. So any chance that I can see and observe things, I'm like, oh, like that's pretty rad. And definitely when I saw you there, I was like, she is fucking killing it. So I love what you do,
Aw.
and it truly goes in so far. And even my runner who didn't actually have to use you, but was like, dude,
Mhm.
Thor is awesome. Like I've seen her so much, and she's been doing so many awesome things for people, and everyone talks so highly of her. So I hope you know what you've done for this community and like what you continue to do. And you are literally touching the souls of people out there. So it's awesome.
Aw. I'm very grateful and thank you. I am. I'm truly grateful to give people the safe space they deserve. And to for them to allow me to be part of their journey. That really means a lot. So, and thank you for your sweet words. I do. I love the people. I
Yeah.
do. I just hate your feet.
Oh, I
But
can
it's not
only
going to change.
imagine. Yeah.
Like, it's not going to
There,
change. I'm still going to fix them because I
yeah.
know that's what it's going to take to see you fulfill a goal. Like,
Yes.
don't let it shy you away. Put those nasty things in my face. We'll go to work.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. So, with that being said, since we're on the topic of feet, what would you say is probably like the one best piece of advice you could give to anyone about? Because like I don't want to get into the nitty gritty because I'm sure everything is a little different. But if like
Mhm.
you, as someone that like see feet, witness feet, experience the cleaning up and whatnot of feet, it's like what is one good piece of advice you'd love to give to people?
Baby them. The
Mm,
softer your feet, the better you will be. So baby them. The pedicures, lotions, like all of that stuff, like it goes a long way. Callus is our enemy. Soft is our friend.
So I have to say this. I never knew this prior to Javelina. I ran Javelina, got really bad blisters. I like went all in and learned as much as I could about blisters and like got educated. And like your feet, I should say. And I cannot tell you how many people I encounter. They're like, "Well, I have calluses. It should toughen my feet." And I used to literally think the same thing. And then I
Mhm.
learned and I was like, "No, like you need to have like fresh baby skin, but it needs to be strong at the same time." So like it's so cool to hear you say that, and I think everyone needs to know this as runners. Like your feet need to be taken care of, and yeah, I've never gotten a pedicure though. I'm not gonna lie, I never did that.
Don't do them either.
Okay.
I do my own. I
Cool,
do my
cool.
own. I don't like people touching my feet.
Oh, I love hearing that. That's so funny.
I had a toenail removed years ago from like a surgery I had, not running related at all. So I have 9 toenails, and like the last thing I want to have is like my big toenail be like the scapegoat and like 9 other nails painted with fun colors and just have this like ogre of a toe like ignored. Like, no,
Ignored.
I'm good. I'm good. Like I'm just gonna take care of them at home. I don't need anybody to worry about it, and they're fine.
Yeah.
They're just fine.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, so amazing, amazing advice, and I cannot express how much I love hearing that because I know, and as a coach, like I have had so many athletes come to me and say, "Well, I have calluses, but I got a really bad blister," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's because of that callus." And they're like,
Mhm.
"What?" Or the the toughness of your feet, and yeah, having smooth feet is the way to go. And it's so great to hear that from someone that knows all about feet and not just like, well, this is what I've heard, so this is true, and it's got to be true if you're saying it. So
Yeah, and that's just from experience. Like I haven't read a lot of books. Most of my knowledge comes from like witness and experience. The few info tidbits that I've read seem to be counterintuitive. So
Mm,
yes, soft feet.
yeah,
They like it's been tried and true on the trails, and like I mean we apply lubricants to our feet to keep them from like sticking, so why would we allow callus there, because that's exactly what it does. So
yeah.
yes, baby your tootsies.
Very cool, very cool. Amazing advice. And like one thing I think that everyone kind of forgets about is like they are probably one of the most important things out there. Like if your feet are not being taken care of, a blister will literally ruin your whole fucking day.
Oh
So
yeah.
making sure they're taken care of is really, really important. So amazing advice, and truly appreciate everything that you do out there in the ultra world and what you continue to do. I'm super excited for your Tahoe adventure. I know you're going to do amazing. How has prep been going for that? Any like things that have like literally made you feel like, yes, like this is in the fucking bag and I got it?
No.
Oh, no.
I oh my God. Well, first off, I'm just going to be full blown vulnerable at the moment. Being a woman in this sport, like, really has its challenges because, like, my menstrual cycle started a week early, and the only symptoms I got was just an emotional fucking roller coaster.
Oh,
And like, the energy was great, and then I died. And like, the fatigue is real. So the insecurities really rise, with like how unprepared I actually feel. I do feel stronger. I have a great coach, Des Clark,
very
with
cool.
Team Run Run, and oh my God, she's been helping me through so much, even just like the psychological, emotional stuff. And then living at the base of a mountain really helps. So I definitely feel stronger in the sense that like I can go on the mountains and feel confident of being able to do those inclines and declines and inclines and declines. So the endurance definitely feels a lot better. I'm putting it to the test on May 10th. I'm running Jemez Mountain in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Another friend of mine who's running Tahoe is also running it. So it's a 50-mile with 10K of gain,
Heck yeah.
which in essence is ideally right, like right what I need. So the nerves are there, but it's definitely going to be a confidence booster for sure. I ran Black Canyons back in February. All time goals and all goals went out the window at mile 7 when I rolled into a cactus. So,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
no, it's all good. Cause like I fell again at mile 24, and I was just like, I had it. I wanted to quit. I was bawling my eyes out, and it was just like, I'm 24 miles into 100K, and this is how I feel. And then like going back to what I said earlier, like we have so much more that we can dig from. And like the conversation I had with myself was more like, bitch, you've done harder, move.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and after that I was fine. But I finished, and at the end of the day, that's my ultimate goal, is to cross that finish line. So it was helpful. There was a lot of lessons I took from Black Canyons in things that I never encountered before. And I'm sure Hema's Mountain's going to do the same. And as we approach Tahoe, I just got to keep in mind that there's 5 rules in 200s: eat, drink, feed, sleep, and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so long as I'm holding true and being held accountable to those things, anybody can do it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. I agree 100%. And I know you're gonna crush it. You know,
Thank
I
you.
have no doubt that you'll push through and get this 200 done and come out the other side being like, Liz was fucking right. She was 100%
Yeah.
right. So I know
I
you're gonna do
appreciate
amazing
you.
things. Yes, yeah, you're gonna do so good, and I truly can't wait to hear all about it. And if I don't see you at the end of the race or for something like that, I will be blowing your shit up trying to hear all about it. So I truly cannot
Aw.
wait. But I
Yay.
truly appreciate you taking the time to be on the podcast and to share your story and talk about you, because I'm sure everyone always wants to talk about other things, especially because you're so into all the destination trail races, which is amazing. But I appreciate you talking and sharing your story, even though we didn't even get into like juicy stuff about before you got into running, which is probably like what everyone wants to hear. But maybe we'll have to have you on later and we can talk all about that shit then. But one
Absolutely.
question, yeah, one question I always like to ask, the podcast is called The Tribe of Runners. I am obsessed with the community and I want everyone to be encouraged and inspired by as much as possible, whether that be sharing stories, sharing my own story. And I think your story is an amazing one and will encourage so many people. But with all of that being said, what does the word tribe mean to you in the running world?
Okay. I'm going to answer it in a second, but we're going to give like a little, I'm going to take control for a second. So
Oh,
next time we talk, I'm just
yes.
letting folks know I was not a medic in the Navy. I was an aviation ordnanceman. I put the pew pews on the go-go's. I used to deal with weapons of all sizes, makes and models, and fighter jets on the flight deck. So there's your little taste of what I did. You can look it up
That's
online. You can see some of what we did on some YouTube videos.
heck yeah.
What does tribe mean to me? This is a really good one. Um, you know, I've never been asked this, but when we talk about tribe of runners, I think, and I'm just going from my heart here. We think of I think of a community of acceptance.
Mm.
Of being able to be your most vulnerable self, without fear, without anxiety, without judgment. To be able to rely upon anyone in that tribe for anything and everything that you may need, whether it's good, bad, ugly, the best thing ever. That we're all equal. Nobody is better than one another. And when we talk about tribe of runners, we are all one. And although some of us may be more successful, talented, and skilled in the sport, we are all equal because we are all doing exactly what we love to do.
It's so true. It's so true. And I love that. That's awesome. And, it just goes to show this community is amazing. And like you mentioned, like no matter the skill level, everyone is there to help, encourage, support, give that hard talk to someone to get them continuously going or whatever the case may be. And it's not just us runners, it's the crew, it's the volunteers, it's the race directors, it's everyone that's
Mm-hmm.
involved through the littlest line out there of like my grandmother who doesn't know anything about running that will cheer me on too. So
I
it's
love
it's
it.
everyone within, and I love that that's how you feel, and it's so true. I love it. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
so much for being on the podcast and sharing your story, and best of luck at Tahoe. I cannot wait to see you and cheer you on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's good to see you again.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing you at Tahoe. It's gonna be an experience. I'm looking forward to seeing your eyes bulge out when you get to see the view. Like,
Oh,
oh my God. I'm just excited. So
yeah.
thank you again. This was wonderful to be here with you and share my story, and always get to see some other badass women out there, but just
Heck yeah.
badass runners, period.
Heck yeah.
So yeah. Thanks, Liz.
Yes, thank you so much.